We work really hard to find where that line is between training hard but not overtraining, and not putting too much importance on winning a tournament, but putting the importance on actually being good enough to be there. And if you're good enough to be there, you're good enough to win it. Every day is almost a mini tournament in and of itself, but not knowing a ton about the competition makes that a little bit difficult. But it really comes down to making sure that you're doing the things that you do well, and making the other team have to adapt to what you're doing as opposed to the opposite.
With one game a day in heat, you really have to look at it as a marathon, not a sprint. You may come up against a variety of opposition, but don't look for any breaks here. If you don't have a great opening game, you got to forget about it quick, because the next game is coming right around the corner. The result is usually very tight, and sometimes you need a bit of luck, and we've certainly had that, and you'll just have to finish your chances. Everybody has to defend, no matter what. You can't get your head down, and you just have to believe in each other. It sounds like a bit of a cliche, but when it gets hot and the field's heavy and the game's not going so well, sometimes you just have to battle through it. And it's not going to be the beautiful game at times. It's going to be who competes more, and that's certainly been the case for us.
Comparing yourself to teams in Washington is one thing. There's a lot of good teams, a lot of good clubs, but we try to figure out how we compare with everybody else. And whether it's the Northwest through the Far West Regional League, or through regionals where you're comparing yourself to the best teams up and down the West Coast and all of Region 4. When I've kind of learned to not underestimate these guys, especially when you reach the knockout rounds, finding ways to fight through some injuries, fatigue starts to set in a little bit, and finding ways to fight through that. They find ways to play big in big games. The best players have their best games when their best game is needed. Whether it's one guy, one game, or 3 or 4 another game, it just feels like they kind of take that to heart and really raise their game in big games. It feels like Washington, to a certain extent, is always fighting for credibility and fighting to continue to gain a good reputation, again, not just in Region 4, but nationally. And anytime that you can send teams over to nationals, and even more so if you can find a way to be competitive and be successful, it's good for us, it's good for our club, it's good for the state. We as a team, we talk about representing Seattle and representing Washington every time we step on the field. And it'll be no more evident than being back at nationals for sure.
represent our club, our city, our state is really cool. As the only Washington team going, it's going to be a really fun experience to have everyone behind us rooting for us the whole way.
You can't do everything on your own. And so I think relying on your teammates and trusting in what the coach has to say and what your other teammates are saying kind of takes part in how you play.